Hello, Soul Crew. Great to see you again in another moment of the now. Thank you for your presence. Wow, today's transmission, powerful, profound, and I'm going to try to keep it general so that each of us can take whatever suits our current journey. What this means is that some things may resonate, some others don't. I leave it up to you and your discernment. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes. This is for you to broaden a perspective, to get some insight. So, whatever resonates, feel free to take it with a pinch of salt or a lot of salt. And whatever doesn't, let it slide, let it scroll over it so that it can reach the people that it's meant for. Because here, the transmission that is coming through is very clear, though. Why is this happening to you? There's something that we're going through and it might have crossed our minds. Why me? Why this? Why again? Right? I'm going to give you different cues because we are all playing out the story differently in our own unique storyline, our own timeline. So the bottom line is, why is this happening to you? You may be going through some sort of heavy disappointment or like some sort of circumstance where you're like, you feel that on one end, some of you might have already done the work and the job, and you're just like, why is this happening again? Or not necessarily the work actively, but something was in the making and it seemed to be a great opportunity, and then all of a sudden it fades away and you're back in square one. So it can be like there could be different underlying emotions, but remember, frustration and disappointment are really like a layer covering up for something else, whether that's sadness, that there's hurt, there's anger, there's something deeper there, because you can be resentful or frustrated with regards to many different situations, right? Or there could be many emotions. So I invite you to dive in with curiosity. What's behind the resentment? What's behind the frustration? What's really at stake if this opportunity or this thing were not to happen or manifest in the way that you expected it, right? Or if it has to do with a person, or like I said, a situation, or both. So why is this happening to you? This is a wake-up call activation. This means that this circumstance triggered you to open up to the possibility of things being different. And then once we jumped on board and we thought that was going to be the boat, we're like, oh no, we're going to take you in that direction, but this is not the ride yet. So can you please get off the boat? So bottom line is, like, we were thinking we're going to go one way, right? Which is square one. And we were there. And then this other opportunity opens up. So we work around that and we're like, okay, I'm going to open up to this journey. And then we on board and they're like, no, please get off the boat. And then you're like, why would I even, I thought I was going to go into this transition, or this was going to happen, or this person, or whatever is it that it's happening for you right now. And then all of a sudden it kind of seems that it's not. Well, the point is to open you up to the opportunity or the possibility that there's more than one way, right? That maybe we were set in our ways, or we thought, oh, it is what it is, right? And then this new opportunity opens up. And yet, even though it's not happening, or this relationship, or like I said, this whatever blank is happening to you, was meant to trigger, to wake up an activation within you, being like, okay, maybe it's not this boat, but I do want to go to that destination. How am I going to get there? And that's giving you the opportunity to be a truthful observer. Remember, here in Soul Strength, we try to take the higher moral ground. And even though things are personal, or of course they're happening to you, we try to see from a bigger picture, what can I make out of this, right? Like the phrase that I love is like, this either breaks you or makes you. And I usually choose the latter, right? Because we're already here, like when on earth, while on earth. So the truthful observer is the person that is able to take a step back, observe their emotions, process with curiosity, and foresee a better outcome. And even if it seems that whatever ride was going to take you, wherever it was going to take you, is not happening, just explore. Maybe just this simple fact that this opportunity was at hand opened you up again to something that could have happened. And then now it's up to you. Do you want that to happen? And what it's giving you is a benchmark. It's giving you perspective to, like, okay, I was not even open to this opportunity, and now I'm going to pursue it. Now I know that there's other alternatives rather than square one. But again, the truthful observer takes a step back, reclaim everything that you've learned up until now. Like, even if there was work done, to achieve this new opportunity, and it didn't like culminate in the way that you expected, there was a vibrational shift in you. So how can you take a step back and observe everything? Something that is happening here, and this does get a little bit particular, yet there's two groups of people that I see here. There's a part of us that may be holding back a lot, and there's others that may be oversharing and explaining and doing too much. So here I leave it up to you to assess yourself. In this, whatever's happening to you, you've either been holding, and it's time to kind of begin to spend or let go or open up and share, or the other way around. We've been oversharing, we've been overdoing, we've been overworking, and it's time to, again, assess yourself. And this is where the truthful observer kicks in. Once we begin to take that stance, you'll be able to assess yourself. Because what I feel is an excess. There's too much of something. We're either holding on too much, or oversharing, or over explaining, or over justifying. And again, it's not your responsibility to make other people understand you. People that care to understand you will ask the questions, and they will take initiative as well. There's not enough work you can do to make somebody change their minds. People change their minds, and what you do is stand for yourself. And here's where the next insight comes in, is setting your boundaries and staying strong within yourself, because in these circumstances, it seems to be something or someone that is very inflexible, that is very dominating, and that is trying to have control over the situation. So there may be some sort of sense of coercion, like things were going to work out and then they didn't. But it's not. They could happen if you're extra flexible. But here's where I really pray that this is not too cryptic and it relates. Yet what this means is that it's not on you to be more flexible for this to happen. Something's got to give, and just mind the people or the circumstances around you, because if they're too inflexible or they're dominating too much on what you feel is right for you, it's a moment to take a step back and to assess if this is a good opportunity or not, whether it's a job, whether it's relationship, whether it's family. Just assess, because it's great that you're evolving and that you're flexible and that you're lean and that you're taking up the higher ground, but it's also not up to you to do other people's homework, right? We're not falling back into the people pleasing, like, oh, this was my truth and this is what I was going to do. Now they changed the circumstances, so now I have to change again for them, because you want to make sure that you're not doing their homework. Like if somebody's unavailable to meet you where your needs are, you also don't have to give up on your needs to meet them halfway into the higher ground. Giving up on yourself and postponing what's true to you is not middle ground. And if they are unable to onboard, I leave it up to you to assess this. And an example that came up is, like, imagine that you're doing a party up in the mountain, and a loved one that told you that they would support you and they would be there comes around and tells you, oh no, if it's at that altitude, I can't make it to the party. So you're in this in between, being like, oh wow, they prompted me to tell me, pursue your dreams, do whatever you need to do, and then I'm doing this party, and then I send this invite, and this person can't make it. Of course, you could change your dreams, change the location and everything to meet this person's needs, or assess. And it can be tough, because this person may be just coming from a place of inflexibility within themselves. So you being extra flexible for them to meet, for you to meet their needs, is not necessarily standing for your truth. Right. And again, this could look in different ways, and nobody's saying cut off the situation or brush it off. It's more like take some time, take some time to rest, because you've exhausted yourself. You've done a lot of work. You've been also doing like a lot too much for this to work out, and it's imbalanced. You've either been, like I said, shutting down too much to keep everything balanced, or oversharing and overdoing to keep up. And at this point, this person is not even going to make it to the party, or this offer is not even going to happen the way you initially thought. So it's okay to kind of let go of that particular scenario. It may unfold or happen under different circumstances, yet it's important to take a step back and to assess yourself and to feel through, because you have been doing a lot. You have been overstretching, and this could feel like an unkind or cruel process based on the work that you've done and based on how firm you were, where you're finally coming into your truths and taking a stance. And like I said, this is just a metaphor, where you're finally doing that one event the way you've dreamt for. But again, it's not just an event, it's like a life decision that you were going to make. And people told you that they were going to support you, right? And then when it comes to shove, they're like, oh, we'll support you, but not that way. Like if the party was somewhere else, we would have gone. So you do have our support. And it's almost like you're the one who doesn't want us to come because you're doing it in the mountains. So I know this sounds like a little bit out there, but I just want to keep it general so that you can see what was your mountain, what was your North Star. maybe who were the players that said they would support you and they're actually not being able to come through. And again, this is not personal because they'll have their own reasons why they can't make it up the mountain. But the bottom line is not to forget that this was a celebration moment for you. This will be a celebration moment for you because you've achieved a lot, and this is for you. This is a big moment for you. And whether some people will make it to the celebration or not, that's the wake up call. Not everybody is meant to see or share your dreams in the way that you feel them, right? Not everybody has their own dreams. So it's just very important for you to not lose sight of this celebrating moment for yourself or that which you're looking to achieve or complete. And whether some guests may make it or not, that's really up to them. But here, the point is to not wear yourself out trying to please everybody or be too flexible where you put yourself down or you postpone yourself in order to meet other people's needs. Make sure that the adjustments you're doing are not just an extension of somebody else's fears, right? Like if somebody's concerned for you, so then you hold yourself back in order to not trigger them. That's their work, that's their homework, and it can be tough. But at the end, I can tell you that you will never regret pursuing your truth if that's within the fulfillment of your soul and you're not damaging or trespassing anybody. But postponing yourself is never going to fulfill anybody else. It may be temporary because you may give them a quick fix by changing the location of the party, but eventually they're going to have something else is going to come up. And that's why this particular situation is happening to you for you to make the call. It's a wake up call for you to tell you everything that you've always wanted is at the reach of your hands, just maybe not the way you thought it would, and not everybody may be able to join. And then you decide how important is this for you, this opportunity, and just know that you have the strength, you have what it takes to endure this and to succeed and to prosper, and just mind the loyalties with people that may be doing their own homework, right? Like maybe this person cannot make it to your party because they didn't do their own homework. So I leave it up to you to assess if you've been doing your homework and you get to celebrate, or you're going to hold your celebration back because somebody else has homework to do. Please let me know if this resonates, or if it was too cryptic, or if there's anything I could do to elaborate, because I'm happy to expand. Like I said, I wanted to give this transmission because there's a few in the crew out there that are going through something where they're like, why? Like everything was set in place. Everything seemed that it was going to work. But at the end, it did. It triggered you into opening up to opportunities you might have not considered. They're just going to play out in the best case scenario. And the best case scenario right now was not meeting the frequency quota. If you may, you were like, oh, but this was all going to be perfect, but it wasn't, because it was not going to meet the highest good for the evolution of your soul. So there's some arrangements being made. I welcome you to honor the delays as part of the process, understanding that things are being adjusted so that the best outcome may come for you. There's a divine process behind all of this, and it's vibrational. So the vibrations will meet you at the end. And if some people can't make it, or if some circumstances aren't happening, it's part of the growing process. And just go back to how we started as a truthful observer. Take a step back, do rest, because I see a lot of burnout. You've been doing too much, trying to keep everybody together or everybody on board, or whether, like I said, it's a someone or a something, trying to keep it. And it's time to balance. It's time to rest, and it's time to know that there are divine blessings coming your way. And that's why this transmission made it through to this particular set of souls that are like looking for that strength. And it may not come from the people that you expected them, but you're going to feel that strength, and that strength is within you. And we're here to activate that. This is that wake-up call where you're like, I'm strong enough. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to continue with my vision. And even if it changes shape and form, and it looks somewhat different than I expected, it's still meant for you. There's that goal at the end of the line. So focus on your North Star, and do take some time. Again, it keeps coming up. Do take some time to rest and assess whether you're holding back too much and it's time to honor your own emotions or your own process, or whether you're explaining too much and overreaching, borderline trying to control how other people perceive you or how other people should have behaved in the situation. So food for thought. I pray that this resonates, and feel free to start a conversation in case there's anything that is relatable, or anything you want to share, or any advice you want to pass on. We appreciate your presence, and I will see you in another moment of the now.